Welcome to today's episode of Around Nigeria. Now, the topic for today is actually boys behaving badly. What do I mean by that? If you've seen the recent interview granted to, I think, Akinbaloye is his name, from Channel TV, he interviewed Peter Obi, and that interview on the Obi side was a complete disgrace. Okay, he exposed himself as the fraud that he is. When I say fraud, I didn't mean like fraud as in stealing, even though wink wink, he's a total fraud. You know, Akinbaloye just asked him a simple question, asked, are you still a member of the PDP and PDP of the Labour Party? And he said, today I'm still a member of the Labour Party, but. Now, anyone who has a modicum of grey cells knows that when you say something and then end it or interject a but in it, you've completely cancelled what you've said, okay? Unless if you're giving a caveat, and he wasn't giving a caveat. So, you know, that interview just continued with falsehood after falsehood after falsehood and deception from Obi. Oh, we're just a coalition. You know, we are coalescing to produce a presidential candidate. Okay. Would you be under the banner of the ADC or the Labour Party? I can't say right now what banner I will be under. You know, there are many different parties coming together. We're just, coalescing. All I know is that I will be the presidential candidate. Under which party? So you obedience, sometimes I call them obediots out there, who think that this man, Peter Obi, has got your back. Well, you've got a rude shock coming your way. You've got a rude awakening coming your way. That man just became popular by run of play because of NSAS, and he saw his opportunity and he latched on to the youths. And I don't want to insult the youths. They are all smart, they know what they're doing, but this man just used that opportunity and launched himself into the national stage. And look, when I watched that interview, I asked myself, a man who is not even coherent about what he wants, a man who can't commit to whether or not he belongs to a party, a man who joined a gang of mobsters, basically to do a hostile takeover of another party. Is that the man you want to lead Nigeria? Is that the man you want to solve the problems of Nigeria? And then he rattled on a few nonsense about what Tinubu was not doing. Let's just go down memory lane when he was a governor. What did he do? I'll just leave it there. You do your research. What did he do? Even the IMF, the World Bank, has praised this government for the reforms that they are putting in place. Of course, several decades of looting, of stealing, of treating Nigeria like a prostitute is not going to be fixed in 2 years or even in 4 years, okay? So I find it laughable that he says, I will just do 4 years. You mean you'll just do 4 years? Yes, I will just do 4 years. And when Akinbaloye pressed him again, I want to show the direction. No, we don't want someone to show the direction, okay? We already know the direction of this country. And we need someone like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to actually solve the problems. Okay, anyone who's not 5 years old in Nigeria knows what the problems of the country are, and they know the direction the country should be going. We're not electing anyone to just go there and say, I want to show the direction and then I will leave after 4 years. Now that answer just tells me that they've already reached an agreement that he will probably do 4 years, and then that's if, you know, Atiku's ego allows him to do the 4 years. I have a strong hunch that he has settled for second best, which is what he is in this conglomeration of losers, okay? Because if you spread him with the others, he will come a distant second to the last, okay? I watched a program by a guy named Don Eza, and he was spot on. And another gentleman this morning, I think it was Channels again, or Channel TV, he was talking to the same Akim Baloye fellow. You know, these two gentlemen have really broken down what this administration is actually doing. And sorry to say, I expect to hear stuff like that from his media people, okay? Not from Don Eza or Reno is his name, okay? They came to the defense of the president, you know, with facts and figures. And Don Eza in particular did his brilliant calculus and decided that Obi will not get the ticket in this coalition of sore losers. So obedience out there, if you know what is good for you, I think you should better start listening to the manifestos of the other parties and see if there's anything for you. I bet you that once you start to do that, you will see that this president actually has thought out what he needed to do to fix the country. And that brings me to the second stage of this telecast. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Sons of Issachar.